Live event broadcasts, also known as live web streaming, are becoming hugely popular because they offer up massive opportunities. How else would you be able to gain access to a worldwide audience? And more importantly, how would an international audience be able to gain access to your event from anywhere in the world without a live stream? Now, before we get into the planning of your web streaming and taking you through our important guidelines, we want to make sure that you check out our presentation package that we have at Come Alive Media, and click on the explainer video there, as we've outlined all the different options available to you when it comes to filming setups. Now, like all of our packages at Come Alive Media, we want you to achieve the best results for your business by using the best quality video production. And how we do that is actually just taking you through our 4-step process. The first step is to plan, obviously. And before we get started, it's important that you know what it is that you want to accomplish. But first, here's a couple of examples from former clients about what they wanted to achieve with their live web streaming, just so you get an idea of what's available to you. Example 1, an international charity conference wanted to provide a viewing platform to those that couldn't make it to London for their event. Example 2, the hosts of a marketing conference wanted to open the event up internationally so they could offer people across the world the opportunity to pay to view their content. Example 3, a public sports event which was made available to a worldwide audience became a lucrative investment when adverts were placed alongside and throughout the live feed. All 3 examples we've just given you encompass all very different event concepts with very different circumstances and business models. And when it comes to your project, we've come to realize that no one size fits all. That's why we always consider our clients' needs individually and do our very best to find a service that we believe would benefit you the best. So first things first, you've got to determine which platform is right for you. And we do this by running through a few basic guidelines which we ask you to consider. So the first one is analytics. It's a pretty useful tool as it can tell you where your audience are viewing from in a geographical sense and in the web sense. It can also tell you the number of viewers that you've had on and how long that they're staying tuned in for. So if you like the idea of knowing a bit more about your audience, then this option might be the one for you. And it'll also benefit you massively when it comes to putting together marketing strategies and building profiles of your customers. The second thing that you need to consider or think about is your revenue model. As anyone who regularly runs events can tell you, and I'm sure you know anyway, that they're pretty expensive to host. So you might want to look into earning some extra revenue from your live web stream. There are a number of ways of doing this depending on the type of event you're running. And the main options include pay to view, which allows your audience to watch your event live once they've paid to tune in, and using adverts to generate revenue alongside your live stream. The third one here is broadcast quality. There are 2 main issues that I want to highlight here. The first one is that you've got to think of the end user. Everywhere there are loads of ways that people can view your live web stream. And in order to achieve the best quality broadcasts, you need to think about who you're targeting and how they will be viewing your live stream. For example, if you wanted to target mobile phone users, then you would look to transmit the video over a 3G bandwidth as well as a 4G bandwidth. Then we've got to talk about content. We need to know what sort of event it is that you're hosting, as this will also determine the type of service we think will work best for you. And some have been specifically tailored for fast action sports events, but if it's just a conference, for example, then that service wouldn't be right for you. 4, branding. You need to think about whether you want a white label option. If you were to use a third-party web streaming service such as YouTube, then YouTube branding is going to be all over your live broadcast if you decide to use that service, which might not be appropriate for what you're doing. Now, going for the white label option means your transmission won't be branded with anything at all unless you decide to add your own branding. So some people aren't too fussed about this, whereas others think it's one of the most important elements and want their own logos added to the web stream. And so all options can be explored. Just let us know what it is that you're looking for. So the 5th area to consider is audience size. And if it's possible, it's always useful to know roughly how large the audience is likely to be. And so the size of the audience will largely determine which service we choose for you, as the last thing you want is your live stream to go down because the provider can't cope with the amount of people that are viewing it. So we can make sure that no one experiences any viewing problems during the transmission. So once you've got your head around all the above, you can start thinking about the fun part, the production. So this is our 2nd step. We then look at producing you a great live broadcast. And so now you have an idea of what your live streaming options are. The filming of your event can be set up. Although live streaming is great, it does have its disadvantages, and mainly because your production costs are going to be higher. If you were to compare it to pre-recorded content, for example. Now, the reason for this is because filming live requires more equipment and more manpower to run it. But before you completely bin the idea, don't forget that live events are broadcast as they happen. So there's a less editing if you want to use the pre-recorded content later, which will save you money. Our 3rd step here, which is polish. Throughout your broadcast, we'll be cutting between the different cameras we've set up in order to get right into the middle of the action. And so if you want to use some or all of the footage from the live broadcast as pre-recorded content at a later date, all we need to do is essentially something that's called topping and tailing. And this just means that we tidy up the beginning and the end of the broadcast, and it's pretty much ready to upload to your desired video service. So that's it. It's pretty much all you need to know about live web streaming and how it can boost your business. We hope that you found the information in this video useful, and don't forget to check out some of our case studies and testimonials to see what we can do for you. And if this package is what you're after, then get in touch with us and we'll see how we can help you. Okay, good.